British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning and welcome to BCIT's The Crow. I'm your host, Alessio Cusano, and here are your news headlines to 10:30. If you felt a shake this morning, well, it was indeed a 4.0 magnitude earthquake that hit the coast of British Columbia. The earthquake struck about 18 kilometers northeast of Victoria at around 4 a.m., and it was lightly felt on Vancouver Island and Metro Vancouver. There has been no injury or damage reports, and none are likely to come. Although earthquakes are very common in BC, with about 4,000 occurring every year, most are either too small to be felt, but sometimes are strong enough to cause damage. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's minority Liberal government has survived a non-confidence vote, but its fight is far from over. The Bloc Québécois helped the Liberals in voting down the Conservative attempt yesterday to topple the government. But Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet said if Trudeau wants to avoid an election this year, then he'll have to pass 2 Bloc bills by the end of next month.
Between now and October 29th, we could come to the conclusion that they have not used the time being offered them to successfully go forward with the projects.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron this morning in Ottawa. Macron will then board a flight to Montreal, where he'll visit Quebec dignitaries and see the Port of Montreal. It's the first visit of a French president in a decade and comes as the two leaders face a rise in populist movements and disconnect content that have challenged policies on a climate change and immigration. It also follows a March vote by France's Senate to reject the European Union's trade deal with Canada, which went against Macron's wishes. Vancouver urban planner Andy Yon says the NDP's recent housing promise to help people finance buying their first home comes up short for people who want rent on low incomes. The director of Simon Fraser University's City Program, Yan, says the housing finance program appears geared towards getting votes rather than dealing with renters on low incomes, the people with the most pressing housing needs. Yan says the plan will create a new floor price for homes in BC, though specifics about the party's pitch are still lacking. Green leader Sonia Furstenau says the province should focus on other housing issues such as homelessness, vacancy control, and a dearth of non-market housing. Canada and some of its allies says there's an unacceptable risk of a broader regional escalation in the Middle East. They're calling for an immediate 21-day ceasefire across the Lebanon-Israel border and are asking the governments and parties involved to give diplomatic talks a real chance. Israel's government and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah have not yet responded to the proposal. The call comes as Israel military says it killed a Hezbollah drone commander today's airstrike on a Beirut apartment building, but the militant group has not yet confirmed this. The two sides have been exchanging nearly daily fire since the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza began last October. An NDP member of parliament has introduced a bill that would criminalize residential school denialism. If the bill is passed, people could be charged for promoting hatred against Indigenous people by condoning, justifying, or downplaying the historical and lasting impact of residential schools. MP Leah Gazan says the schools try to extinguish Indigenous cultures and languages, and if the government is serious about reconciliation, it needs to protect survivors and their families from hate. The Wildfire Rescue Association of BC says it's dealing with dozens of injured birds that hit windows as winter migration season approaches. The association says it has admitted 81 birds that struck windows since August, including 9 nighthawks, and is currently caring for a northern flicker, a hummingbird, and a red-breasted sapsucker. It says migrating birds are highly susceptible to hitting windows because they can't see glass surfaces. The association says birds need to be cared for as soon as possible after striking a window, and around 25 million birds die in Canada each year from glass surfaces. The Vancouver Film Festival kicks off today. It's the 42nd edition of the festival. Those were your 10:30 news headlines. I'm Alessio Cusano, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trentonero.
And I'm Radhika King.